Dr. Sagar Bhattad, MBBS MD. He is the first DM in India in pediatric clinical immunology and rheumatology specialty. He is a renowned pediatric immunologist and rheumatologist in Bangalore.
When a 3-year-old boy was yesterday brought to my OPD by his parents with high fevers for the past 1 week, and this child had red eyes, red lips, and the tongue looked red, just like a strawberry. We call it the strawberry tongue. Having examined the child, I told the father and the mother, "Your child has Kawasaki disease," and the parents were completely lost. It's not a surprise, not only for these parents, but sometimes when doctors' children are brought to me with Kawasaki disease and I tell them the diagnosis, they have no clue as to what I am talking about. Though this disease is not well known amongst the public, Kawasaki disease is a very common disease seen in young children below the age of 5. Kawasaki disease is actually a vasculitis. Have you heard of vasculitis? It's inflammation of the blood vessels. But in Kawasaki disease, it's the inflammation of the blood vessels of the heart. The coronary arteries get inflamed, they get swollen, and naturally, when arteries are swollen, they can get blocked. And imagine a situation, a young child coming to you with coronary arteries which supply blood to the heart are swollen, and if they get blocked, you get heart attack. You get heart attack in a 5-year-old child. And that is what is Kawasaki disease. And that is why it is such a serious disease and can have a fatal outcome if not treated in time. The symptoms are high grade fever that is not responding to antibiotics, rashes, red eyes with no discharge, red lips, and red tongue, which we call the strawberry tongue. Sometimes you see swelling of the hands and the feet, and often by the end of 10 days, they start having peeling of skin from the fingers. So these are the signs and symptoms of Kawasaki disease.
Why did my child develop Kawasaki disease? Is it an infection? Will my second child get it?
Kawasaki disease is a very common disease in children. However, we do not know the exact cause. This disease, though known to medical science for more than 50 years now, we still do not know what causes Kawasaki disease. But what is very clear is that this is not an infection, because this does not spread from one child to another child. And that is why it is very unlikely that your second child will develop Kawasaki disease. This is not infectious. What we know is that this is possibly an autoimmune condition wherein body's white blood cells have been unnaturally activated and they are damaging the blood vessels. The problem is they are damaging the blood vessels of the heart, and that is why this is a serious disease.
How do you confirm the diagnosis?
It's a very important question because often when you're diagnosed of typhoid fever, you can do a blood test and I can tell you that this is typhoid fever or this is malaria. However, this is not the case with Kawasaki disease. There is no single blood test that will help us diagnose Kawasaki disease. It is the characteristic signs and symptoms which I just described or your child has, along with a few blood tests wherein we see that there is a lot of inflammation in the body. The ESR and the CRP, which are markers of inflammation, are very high, will help us diagnose Kawasaki disease. But let me reiterate, no single test will diagnose Kawasaki disease. It is a clinician with experience who can diagnose this condition.
Why should it be treated urgently? How do you know if the heart is affected?
Kawasaki disease must be treated urgently because if untreated, almost 30% of these children, that means 1/3 of children with Kawasaki disease, will develop serious problem in the heart. The blood vessels of the heart, the coronaries, will get swollen, and if once they are swollen, they can get blocked and there would be no blood supply to the heart and it can cause a sudden heart attack. And that is why it must be treated urgently. Now, how do you know whether the child's heart is affected or not? We would do an echocardiogram. The pediatric cardiologist in the hospital does an echocardiogram and he or she will study, look whether the heart is contracting properly because heart is a pumping organ. That is what we call the ejection fraction. And they also look at the blood vessels which we call the coronaries. And that is how we come to know if the heart is affected or not affected.
Will you treat even if the echo is normal? What is the treatment?
Very important question. Why should I treat if the echo is normal? Because the whole problem with Kawasaki disease is that the echo shows the damage in the coronaries only by the end of second week. And that means if you do an echo in the first week of the illness, often the echocardiogram will be normal, but that does not mean that the child is safe because the damage has started and will be seen only in the second week. So the whole purpose of treating the child in the first week or first 10 days is to prevent that damage. So yes, we will give the treatment even if the echo is normal. That's point number one. And the treatment is straightforward. We need to treat these children with intravenous immunoglobulin, the IVIG. This is a medicine which is given as, I would say, as an infusion, just as you take IV fluid. And this would be given over 24 hours in the hospital. Now, these children, when we give this injection, need very close monitoring. This is a safe medicine. Let me tell you, this is a safe medicine, but some children can develop reaction. And that is why, essentially, this medicine is given in an ICU setup under close monitoring for the first 24 hours.
The doctors say it is more than 10 days now. Do we still need the IVIG?
This is often a confusion amongst parents and sometimes even in doctors that if a child comes to us after 10 days of fever, should we treat? Because some people believe it's too late. No, it's not too late. If the child is running fever, one must give IVIG if your diagnosis is Kawasaki disease, even if it is more than 10 days. In fact, more is the duration of fever beyond 10 days, higher is the risk of coronary damage. And if you treat it at this point of time, we can significantly reduce the risk of coronary damage.
How long will it take for the fever to settle down? What if the fever doesn't settle?
Once we start IVIG, the intravenous immunoglobulin, I would say in majority, 90% of children, fever comes down by 24 hours or maximum 48 hours. In fact, the first few signs of recovery would be that the child would become less irritable. He would look bright, he would look more happier, and then the fever goes away and then his appetite improves. The rashes may take a few days to improve. But then, if the fever does not settle for 48 hours after the completion of IVIG, that's not a good sign. That means the child is not responding to IVIG. And this is definitely a complicated situation. And in this situation, we would like to treat the child with a second medicine. Now that second medicine could be steroids, could be a medicine called infliximab, but the treating team would be the best decision maker in that kind of situation. But yes, if the fever lasts for more than 48 hours, we need to treat it further.
Why is aspirin given?
As you know, aspirin is a blood thinner. That means it's an antiplatelet agent and it helps you prevent clotting in the blood vessels. And now you already know that Kawasaki disease is one wherein if the coronaries are dilated, blood can get clotted. And to prevent such clotting, we give aspirin. And this medicine will be given for at least 6 weeks from the time of discharge.
How long do we stay in the hospital?
Your child can be discharged once the child is afebrile. That means the child does not have fever for at least 36 hours. Naturally, at the time of discharge, the child should be active, he has to be playful, and he should be accepting food orally comfortably. Apart from that, the rashes should have started fading. More important to note that we also do certain blood tests just to make sure that there is recovery. Like we do a blood test called CRP, which should start improving before discharge. Also note, platelet counts increase in Kawasaki disease and they keep rising for next 4 weeks despite treatment. So we do not really want a normal platelet count before we discharge a child. But yes, the child has to be afebrile, active with a downtrending of CRP.
When should we come back after discharge?
Once a child is discharged, most often the child is sent home on aspirin. And we call the parents along with the child a week later for a repeat echocardiogram. And if that echocardiogram is normal, then another echocardiogram is performed at 6 weeks. And if the third echocardiogram is also normal, we stop aspirin.
Are there going to be any long-term problems because of the disease or the IVIG?
Children with Kawasaki disease who have been treated timely, and if their first few echocardiograms that we perform in the first 2 months are all normal, there is no long-term issues. Essentially, the echo that is done at 6 weeks, if it is normal, then the child can be regularly followed up with a pediatrician. On the contrary, if a child with Kawasaki disease has developed coronary aneurysms, then such a child needs long-term follow-up, because these children can have clotting in these blood vessels, which can be dangerous. And in such situations, these children are followed up for many months. For example, I would follow them up along with a pediatric cardiologist, and these children would be on regular medicines to make sure that the coronaries don't get blocked. Yes, there is no long-term implication with IVIG. As I told you, it's a safe medicine and there is essentially no long-term implication. Kawasaki disease is a common disease in young children. Very commonly seen below the age of 5, but older children can develop it as well. It is a serious disease that can affect the blood vessels of the heart. Unfortunately, many children are underdiagnosed and hence undertreated. If treated in time, we can all prevent serious consequences. So when a child with high fevers is brought to us, we must think about Kawasaki disease and treat it timely.